Welcome back to the City Current Show. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're always honored to bring you inspiring stories of individuals and organizations making a difference and powering the good. And that's why we're honored to be with Mindy Bess, CEO and founder of the James Bess Foundation. How are you doing?
I am doing fantastic. Thank you so much, Jeremy.
Well, you all are doing tremendous good around the nation, and we'll definitely talk all about that. But let's start with your father, because this starts with Army Veteran James Bess. So give us some context, give us some background on your father.
Well, James Bess was my dad. He was on course to become an Army Ranger, and unfortunately was medically discharged because of some epilepsy they found when he was in. And then later on in life, he unfortunately was diagnosed with terminal brain cancer. And he was 38 years old when he was diagnosed. And in the middle of that, he had a huge desire maybe to meet Garth Brooks or go to a concert. But because of the lack of resources, it wasn't able to happen. And so I started this organization in his honor as a solution to the problem of not being able to grant adult wishes, because we all know about, granting children's wishes, but there's a lack when it comes to adults. So I started the organization, like I said, in his honor, so that we could grant other people's wishes that are battling with a terminal illness.
Absolutely. So you know this firsthand, the importance. And when you look at the legacy for your father, powerful. Give me one special memory, and I know it's impossible to narrow it down to one, but give me the first one that pops into your head when you talk about your relationship with your father, special memories. Give us one that stands out.
Oh, wow. I think some of the memories, of course, this was, back in the 90s and early 2000s, just, riding in the back of his truck, to neighborhood functions and just, being goofy and playing with him and wrestling with him. It's just those memories of fun and excitement with him.
Well, fun and family. I mean, spending time with your father. And so obviously when you talk about being, in the Army and an Army Ranger, there's a thread of service for him, service and sacrifice. Talk about that side and how that plays a role, because that's what you're doing too, is community service, helping those who are going through sacrifices. And so talk about kind of that thread line as well.
Well, yes. So after my dad got out, obviously he still had that service mentality. So he just put that into everyday practice. So he was very active in his church and serving in his church and serving the people around him. At work, serving in construction and building things with his hands. So it was all about building, and it's all about connection with people and serving people. And obviously that legacy has been passed down to me, because I actually, obviously do the same thing with serving others who need it.
Absolutely. So as I mentioned, this is a nationwide opportunity and effort. And so talk about the number of wishes you've been able to grant so far and how it works.
Well, so far we have granted 31 wishes nationwide, like you said. We've done anything from celebrity wishes to trips to reconciliation with family to riding lawnmowers. So we've done a lot of different things, and how it works is that anyone who is living in the United States is between the ages of 21 to 65 and has a diagnosed life expectancy of 18 months or less, then they can go on our website at jamesbess.org. There is a tab at the top that says Dream Application. Click on that. They can download that, print it off, fill it out, and send it in to us. And then once everything is submitted, we go ahead and process it. We call their doctor, find out if what they want is something that they can do. We don't want to do anything that's detrimental to their health. So we verify with a doctor to say, hey, this is what they want to do. Can they actually do it? 9 times out of 10, the doctor says, yes, not a problem, they can. And then we do our best to grant them the wish that they have.
And so when you look at granting the wish and the dreams that they have, obviously there's a financial piece to make that happen. We'll talk about that in a second. Give us, you kind of painted the picture a little bit, but give us an illustration around maybe a couple of the specific dreams and wishes that you all have been able to grant.
On the celebrity front, this was, I think, last year, we were able to grant a wish to a young gentleman with heart disease, and he wanted to meet Luke Combs and go to a Luke Combs concert. So we were able to work with Luke Combs and his team to make that happen. And Luke Combs paid for us to go down to Atlanta and to meet him backstage and go to the concert. So that one was a really cool experience. We've also had reconciliation wishes, which are very special to us because there's something obviously very special about reconciliation. We've actually had two of those where the father was the one who was sick, and the son was far away and cross country almost. And they wanted to come to the table, but they couldn't afford to fly the son from where he was to where the father was. So we come on board and we raise the money and we get we pay for the flight and some expenses and everything to get the son to the father to kind of facilitate that process of reconciliation. So we've had a couple of those. We've also had a couple of riding lawnmowers, which is kind of strange, but the two gentlemen there, they really loved, they lived on property, a lot of property, and they love being outdoors. They love being able to be independent and take care of their yard, but they couldn't afford a mower. So one of them was actually mowing 3 acres of mowable land with a weed eater at one point because they couldn't afford a lawnmower. So then we come on board and we were able to get them both a riding lawnmower so they could continue to live independently as long as they could. And then the others are just trips. You know, we've had trips to the Panhandle in Florida. We've had several trips to Gatlinburg as well. Just different scenic things so that people could just have fun with their family. So it's all basically practical things that adults want.
Yeah, and I love the illustration around, like you said, from lawnmower to trips to meeting Luke Combs to the reconciliation, which I agree with you is extremely powerful. What's the feedback? What do you have a chance to see? And I know it may be hard to put into words, but when you talk about a reconciliation of bringing family together, what does that look and feel like on your end, but obviously the feedback from their end?
Well, the last reconciliation wish we did, which was actually in December, it was a kind of a Christmas wish, sort of. And when I was able to tell the client that we were going to do it, and that one was I only had a few weeks to pull it together. But he just broke down in tears because he didn't think that it was going to happen. And, you know, the son, he was excited as well. And they showed pictures and videos of when they met at the airport. And it's just really powerful, like you said, because, you know, to know that you're a part of something like that and seeing the two come together and just kind of really embrace each other in the middle of the airport. And it's not even a private moment. It was they didn't care. They just saw each other and really embraced each other. And then, you know, so that for me was extremely powerful to see. So yeah, I love when I get to do those kind of wishes for sure.
Yeah, that's amazing. So let's go ahead and dive in too, because you're also now blessing first responders and military. And so talk about that.
Well, as far as regards to the first responders, we have decided to do basketball tournaments here locally, in Middle Tennessee. And what we're doing is we're getting the first responders in each county and we're doing a tournament. And with the goal being to have a Middle Tennessee March Madness event, hopefully next year, with the top teams from the Middle Tennessee. All of these teams are first responders from fire departments, police departments, sheriff's office. We had Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, we had Wilson County Emergency Management. So all of the different first responders that are out there, they each get a team together and we have a competition. So I'm actually down in Central Florida right now because we're doing a first responder game tonight with two departments here, one fire, one police. And we've got a couple of other, we've got Sumner County coming up. So it's just an awesome opportunity to bless the first responders, to kind of give them an outlet for some fun and some competition. And then just, let them show off. And then we bless them with a trophy. And, so it's just a lot of fun for them to just show off and be blessed. So that's on the first responder side. On the military side, we do our annual fishing tournament. And this year will be our 5th year. And this year we're actually partnering with another military organization called Chappie's Outdoors. And that organization grants fishing trips to wounded, ill, and injured veterans. And when I spoke with him last year at our tournament, he mentioned to me like he had over 750 soldiers on his list waiting for a trip. And I decided like that's not acceptable. So we are partnering with him to try to grant 30 of them a fishing trip. And we're doing a tournament at the end of September. And then the day before the tournament, we're doing a dinner and a concert for those veterans and their partners, because we're also partnering them with a member of the Bethel University bass fishing team out in McKenzie. And they will be partnered with them to compete in the actual tournament, which is an open tournament for anybody. But we're going to be giving them fishing tackle, a t-shirt, tournament fees. So we're paying for the whole thing. And so that's kind of what the whole military thing is to really work with the wounded, ill, and injured.
Yeah. And so carry that into how the community can help, because there's sponsorship opportunities there for the military to be able to make that happen. And then also too, in general, there's a cost when you talk about, the flights and fulfilling the dreams and making the wishes happen. There are costs associated. So talk about fundraising, volunteerism. How can the community help?
Well, with the fishing tournament, the biggest thing is we are looking for 30 businesses or individuals to sponsor a wounded, ill, and injured veteran. So a sponsorship starts at $350 and goes up to $750 as the top level. And so that would give the each individual veteran, it would give them like fishing gear, would pay for a night hotel stay before the tournament, the dinner, like it would pay for everything. So the only thing the veteran has to do is just show up. So that's what it would cover as far as each veteran is concerned. As far as like other things, yes. I mean, we do rely on donations, sponsors, all of that kind of stuff to help with flights and things that we have to pay for out of pocket. So we're working on trying to get a client to Disney right now, and we had to pay for everything out of pocket. So that's where the general sponsors and donations come from.
And I think too, for individuals and families who say, hey, this is on my heart to help, they can host their own fundraisers and work through you all, donate those dollars. So I think there's a lot of ways that creatively individuals, families, businesses can get involved. Obviously, like direct sponsorship, direct engagement, but also too ancillary opportunities to come and support your efforts too, because it all goes back in to, fulfilling these dreams and wishes. And when you talk about going back to that reconciliation piece, that's powerful opportunities to really galvanize families and community. And so I think, there's a lot of really powerful pieces of the equation for what you're doing. So wrap up with where we can go to learn more about the James Bess Foundation and get involved with your efforts.
Well, the biggest way to find out about us and get involved is to go to our website, which is jamesbess.org, or follow us on Facebook. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, TikTok. So those are really ways to follow us and find out what we're all about and get involved. And like you said, absolutely, people can do different events. They can do car washes or or different things to raise funds and then donate them back to us. Anything that the community can do to help us fulfill these wishes and to bless these military and first responders would be awesome and amazing.
Absolutely. Once again, the website, jamesbess.org. So James Bess, B-E-S-S, jamesbess.org. And on Facebook, james.bess.foundation, and Instagram, James Bess Foundation, and on TikTok as well. So lots of easy places to find you and to get involved with the James Bess Foundation. Mindy, thank you for all you and your amazing team do. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Jeremy. I really do appreciate it.